Welcome, Black Sails cast and creators.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have not seen the pilot, but I saw the trailer, and it looks like $60 million was put into this episode. It was almost like a Michael Bay film.
Thank you.
That's good.
Speaking of which, he directed it. Did it feel like you were on some huge, big budget project?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The set is absolutely gigantic.
Unbelievable.
And when you see it and you get there and you see all of the extras, it's clear you're on a very large production, and it's beautiful because it really looks like the day and age that we're trying to do. It's unbelievable.
Feels so real.
Yeah, sometimes you really feel like a pirate there.
It's the biggest thing we've ever done.
Yep.
And which is great. I mean, we had the ability to, I think, tell a story that's really hard to do without these kind of resources. And we got the keys to the toy box a little bit. So.
And it's not just the first episode. Every episode is going to look like this?
I don't know that the first is even our biggest. I mean, I think the show does. I mean, it was important to us when we started that this not feel like the bait and
Cloistered
switch.
or-
Where you do a big action sequence at the beginning and then never again. And I think, for us, we built it throughout the season to get bigger. Through the middle, one of our biggest set pieces is right in the middle of the season. And then we end with kind of a huge big mess of an ending. That was intentional. I think we wanted to show that we're not just doing this show, that we can do the show in the way that you want to see it. And have it kind of be a little bit of everything, that hopefully it's a show that can be emotionally smart and a show that kind of addresses this world in a way that's thoughtful and in a way that kind of kicks ass also. And
Great characters, great story that you expect from this level of television with the scope that you expect from Michael Bay.
Yeah.
What kind of pirate story is this? Because obviously with Pirates of the Caribbean, we're used to campy pirates. It doesn't look like this is that kind of pirate story.
I think everybody's used to that. I mean, what we found when we started researching it was that back to, forget about Johnny Depp, the Errol Flynn pirates are already a little bit of a cartoon. And in reality, the book, the source material for us is a little bit of a cartoon. Treasure Island is
It's a campfire story.
yeah, it's a very sanitized, stylized version of a reality that existed, and that when you go back to it and you start to pick it apart, the reality is actually more interesting than the cartoons that came from it. And I think for us, it's about creating a world that feels real, that feels like it has real people inhabiting it, who get up and go to work every day.
Yeah, I think, when we all got the scripts the first time, and when we get them, it's always, there's an excitement because you can see it on the page, the tone is already there. It's not written in a way, when you first open the page, that you can see it even being done in that way. It couldn't be that broad. It's very specific, and it's really fun.
Yeah. I think it's authenticity. The history, that period in history, was at a big turning point. The British Navy was controlling basically the world trade routes with across the oceans, and it was an interesting political dynamic at that time between the nations of Europe. Just as John was saying, the actual period is so rich in real conflict, in authentic struggles, that you don't really need to embellish it and tell it as a cartoon. You tell it as a true story.
Yeah, it's about contextualizing it too. I think that it's a world that feels very alien because it's not connected to anything real. It never has been. It's always this self-contained fantasy. It's only 70 years before the American Revolution. Like, it exists in a history that we all understand. It just doesn't have a place to stand in it. And I think for us, that was part of what was interesting, was starting to make it feel like part of the world that we live in, and not it's not a fantasy world.
But more importantly, there was a lot of sex and nudity, apparently.
Yeah.
I didn't do any.
Well, that's. Look, there's a reason why people are still telling the story. 3 centuries after it happened, is because it's everything. It's violence. It is adventure. It's sex. It's license. It's the ability to kind of do whatever you want without any authority figures telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Which is just good fun.
And I think there's such a sense of survival and selfishness with all the characters, that's really unnerving. It's a bit scary.
Yeah, everyone's trying to better themselves and move up in this world that's a very harsh place. Especially if you don't have some people behind you and are not in a position of power, it's a very tough place to live.
Yeah.
And the stakes are high in your life. So
These people were thieves, but they were thieves for a reason. They were thieves because they were denied things that they really wanted, vital things in the life that they led before they came to the Bahamas. So our story is about how that's vital, and they'll do anything to protect.
Yeah.
They'll take what's theirs, and they'll do anything to keep it.
I feel like it's really hard to define who are the good guys and who are the bad guys in a lot of ways.
Some of them were betrayed. Some of them were contracted by the royal household of England to do exactly what they were doing when it was convenient for them to do it for the English crown.
And then discard it, yeah.
And then when they decided that was no longer what they wanted because they wanted to make peace, that's when it became moved from being privateers to being pirates.
When you have a bunch of people, especially a bunch of like unruly pirates doing what they want to do, you get a lot of sex and nudity because of that. In the sense that people, when they do what they want to do, when they just act free, there's a lot of stuff that happens, and I think John and Robert and the rest of the writers have done a really good job of contextualizing that within the reality of that world, and not just doing it for no reason.
Absolutely, yeah.
I offered to do the sex and nudity. Stars kept saying, Mark, it's okay. You keep your clothes on. We want the show to be a success. You just
Yours is a closed sexiness.
We knew you would upstage all of us. We couldn't have that.
And just real quick, first Comic-Con for you guys, or
No, I
First remaining virgin.
yeah?
I've been before once.
Have you gotten any tips from the seasoned
Yeah,
veterans?
everyone said get ready for the craziness.
Yeah,
and
it's
they've
mayhem.
They've been right.
Garner and joy, right?
Yeah, I still haven't hit the floor yet. I'm really expecting
coming.
that's going to be insane.
Yep.
That's the shock, yeah.
Thanks for coming by, guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very
Thank you
much.
very
Thank you.
I'm Haley Steinfeld, and you're watching ENTV.
Hi, my name is Kiernan Shipka, and you're watching ENTV.
Aubrey Plaza, ENTV. I just touched it with my mouth, sorry.